Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, my friends, whenever you're watching this video. Welcome back to another Math Time with me, Miss X. I am super excited to have you all here again. Let's begin by taking a look at our objectives. Now, my friends, remember our objectives are always broken up into three separate parts so we know exactly how we're going to do something, what it is that we need to understand, and lastly, why we're doing it or why it's important. So let's go ahead and take a look at our objective. You may read with me or in your head as I read out loud to you. I will use square tiles to create rectangles made of rows and columns in order to see all the ways our array can be arranged. And my friends, we're also going to go ahead and review our vocabulary because it's super important that we know what it is that we're trying to do. And if we don't know the words in our objectives, it's going to be very difficult. Alrighty, our first math vocabulary words, it's going to be rows and columns. Rows, we can think about rows as going from left to right or horizontal, the way that we would see it at a movie theater. Columns go up and down or are vertical. They go up and down, and you might have seen these columns in buildings. They help hold buildings up. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to array. Array is a way of organizing a set of objects into rows, which is across, and columns. And you can think of it as holding it up for columns.
All right, friends and families, welcome to the first part of our teacher model here. For our first part of our teacher model, we are going to look at these 10 tiles and arrange them into two equal groups. Now, if you take a look, our tiles here, they all are the same length around each side. So this left side is the same length as the bottom one, it's the same length as the top one, and the same length as the right hand one. Great. So we have 10 tiles and we're going to arrange them into two equal groups. Remember, equal means that there's the same amount in each group. So let's go ahead and do that. Oops. Perfect. I have two equal groups, 5 in each group. Now I'm going to organize my tiles into two equal rows and leave no spaces between the rows. Gotta make sure I don't leave any spaces at all. Perfect. How many rows did we make? 2. Remember, rows is from left to right or across or horizontal. How many tiles are in each row? 5 tiles. What repeated addition equation can we use to find the total for 2 rows of 5? Wonderful. It would be, so we have 5 on the first row, 5 in the second row. So our repeated addition equation would be 5 plus 5 plus 5 equals 10. What do you notice about the shape of this array? Go ahead and pause and tell a friend or family member first before we talk about it together as a team. Welcome back, my friends. Now you might notice that it has corners like an L. The top and the bottom sides are the same length. So the top is as long as the bottom. It's a rectangle. Now, let's pause here. Let's think to ourselves. We are going to use the same tiles now to make 2 columns of 5. And again, it's important to leave no spaces between the columns in order to make a rectangle. So we're using the same tiles here, and we're going to make 2 columns of 5. Okay, so our first column, and remember columns go up and down. So I have, I'm starting my column here. And leave no spaces in between. Perfect. Now, pause the video here and turn and tell a friend or a family member what repeated addition equation can we use to find the total for 2 columns of 5? Welcome back, my friends. Now, we can use the number sentence or the repeated addition equation 5 plus 5 equals 10 to represent and find the total of 2 columns of 5. Remember, columns go up and down. So we have 2 columns, 1, 2, and in each column is 5. So now I have a question for us to think about. Are the equations and totals equal for both arrays? Our first array was 2 rows of 5. Our second array here is 2 columns of 5. Are the equations and totals equal for both of those arrays? Yes, they are. But how is that so, my friends? Pause the video here and talk to a friend or family member. How is that so? And how is that possible? We will come back and talk together about it as a team. Go ahead and speak to a friend or family member. Welcome back, friends and families. So it is the same rectangle, just turned on its side. It's the same rectangle, just turned on its side. And we can even go ahead and show that. Whoops. Just like that. It uses the same number of tiles, which was 10. And it doesn't matter whether you have 2 columns of 5 or 2 rows of 5, because you have 2 groups of 5. So we have, when we're looking at it in rows, we have one group of 5, another group of 5. When we're looking at it in columns, we have one group of 5 and another group of 5. Both shapes are rectangles. Alright, friends and families, welcome to the second part of our teacher model here. We are going to make a square array. In the last teacher model, we made a rectangle array, and now we're going to make a square array. We are going to arrange 25 tiles and create an array with equal rows and columns. Let's go ahead and begin by setting out a row of 5. And I'm going to set out a row of 5 because I know that I can count to 25 by 5s. My first row, and I'm going to keep the tiles separate into groups until they are all equal. So that's my first group, or my first row of 5. So that's 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Now I can go ahead and put them together without any gaps in between because I have 5 equal groups now. Awesome. So, what does our array look like now? Wonderful. We have 5 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Remember, rows, they go across left to right. We have 5 rows of 5 because we have 5 in each row, and we have 5 rows. And we also have 5 columns, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Remember, columns go up and down, which makes a square. So we have 5 rows of 5 and 5 columns of 5. This is a square. Now we're going to keep 16 tiles on our desk here and put the rest in my bag. So let's go ahead and take a few away so that we have 16 left. In order to do that, that means I'm going to take away 9. So I have 5 here. And then 4. Now I have 16. Great. I'm going to mix that up. And now I'm going to create an array with equal rows and columns. But before we get started, let's pause the video here so that you can talk to your friend or family member first. What strategies can we use to figure out how many rows and how many columns if we want to make sure that we have an array with equal rows and equal columns? Meaning then the amount of rows and the amount of columns should be the same. Kind of like our group of 25. We had 5 columns and 5 rows. Now we're trying to figure that out with 16. And remember, we need to create an array of 16 with equal rows and columns. So pause the video here and talk to your friend or family member first, and then we will work together on it as a team. Alrighty, my friends, welcome back. Let's start by creating groups of 2. That's pretty easy for me to see and to work with. So I'm going to start with groups of 2. Oh, I'm realizing then if I'm creating groups of 2 and I make groups of 4, that's a lot quicker. So I see I have 4. We have a group of 4 here. And let's keep going. Let's go with groups of 4 now to see how that goes. Okay, so I'm at 8 now. Woo! I'm getting close to 16. Okay, so I'm at 8 now, and then oh yeah, I'm at 12. I'm at 16 now. Ooh, let's put it together with no gaps. Now that we have equal groups. Oh, sorry. Perfect. I have 4 groups now, and I know that 4 plus 4 is 8, plus 4 is 12, plus another 4 is 16. So 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4 is 16. So I made 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 rows of 4. You need the same number of tiles in the rows as in the columns. That's what we call a special rectangle, or also it's known as a square. And it's a square when we have the same number of groups and the same number in each group. You need the same number of tiles in each row as in the columns. So you notice that we have 4 rows and we also have 4 columns. Let's take a look. Oops. There we go. Now another way that we can arrange a new or different array is making 2 rows of 8. You'll notice that 2 rows of 8 will be double rows of 4. So 1 row of 4, another row of 4, that's double rows of 4, and that makes 1 row of 8. And then same thing on the bottom. Whoops. Let's go ahead and close it with no gaps. Perfect.
As you get ready to move into your independent practice and your exit ticket, I would like for you to keep these 4 things in mind. Number 1, read the instructions carefully. This is so important. Do not guess about what you need to do. Please read the instructions carefully. Number 2, pay attention to when you need to circle and when you need to arrange the array differently. Remember that vertical is up and down, whereas horizontal is left to right or across. And then Miss X made a mistake there, so I'm going to correct it. Number 4, pay attention to whether they are asking for columns or rows. If you're wondering what pages you need to work on pages 143, 144, and 156. Click the link in the description box below to take you to the worksheet. Don't worry about printing it if you don't have a printer. Just write down the problems on a separate piece of paper and solve it on your own the best that you can. I'm looking forward to all of your wonderful work. Good luck and see you all in the next lesson.